In the quiet early morning of July 8, 2022, in Oxford, Mississippi, Jimmy J. Lee left his apartment at Campus Walk Apartments. The sky had not yet dawned. The silence was only broken by the young man's gentle footsteps. Jay put on a sparkling silver cape, his favorite yellow hat, and comfortable gray sandals. He calmly left the house, leaving behind a little Pomeranian named Lexus, something that rarely happened because Jay always took her with him on every trip. No one knew that was the last time they would see Jay Lee. Jay, an energetic 20-year-old student, has a strong appeal to everyone who meets him. An excellent graduate of the University of Mississippi, he is not only intelligent but also known for his lively and cheerful personality. Friends, relatives, especially his mother, Stephanie, always have the habit of talking to Jay every day. But that day, when she texted herself a happy birthday in the morning, the message just fell silent. At first, Miss Stephanie didn't think too much. Maybe Jay was busy with his internship or sleeping in after a long night. But as time passed, worry began to creep into her heart. Jay never misses an opportunity to call and sing happy birthday to his mother, a familiar tradition between mother and son. Jay not responding was an unusual sign. Throughout that day, Miss Stephanie continuously called and texted. No response. Anxiety is growing more and more. The mother's heart gradually tightened as the calls rang in vain. By late afternoon, Jay's friends also began to realize something was wrong. Some people came to his apartment to check. When they knocked on the door, no one answered. But inside, Lexus's tiny bark rang out. The dog was still there, alone, hungry, and restless. Feeling something bad, Jay's friends called the police to ask to check his condition. When police arrived, they confirmed that there were no signs of a struggle or any unusual marks in the apartment. But Jay still disappeared, leaving no trace other than strange silence. Police quickly checked security cameras in the area. Videos captured Jay Lee leaving the apartment at approx 5:58 a.m. But what caught their attention was that Jay didn't bring any bags or items with him, except his phone. Jay's outfit, robe, yellow hat, and slippers, was not what one would wear if planning to go far. They also noticed something else strange. Approx 4 a.m., Jay had left the apartment once before and returned approx 40 minutes. This raises the question, who was Jay meeting that morning? And what made him decide to leave again just 2 hours later? Data from mobile carrier AT&T provides additional important clues. Jay's phone was still working that morning, with signals moving through many locations in the city, before coming to a complete stop at 7:28 a.m. The last two locations where the phone was recorded were Stone Park and the Residential College South Dormitory, not far from Jay's apartment complex. But when the police came to search, there was no trace of him. The next day, news of Jay Lee's disappearance began to spread. Family, friends, and the university community organized the searches. They posted flyers everywhere, calling on anyone with relevant information to help. The police also issued an official announcement, hoping someone would know what happened to the young man. But time passed, and Jay still did not return. A vibrant person like him, who never went far without telling friends or family, had mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind extreme anxiety and pain. No one knows that behind that silence is a terrible truth about to be revealed. Concern about Jay Lee's disappearance quickly spread not only among his family but also within the University of Mississippi community. Friends, relatives, and even people who only knew Jay through social networks all spoke up, sharing photos and information in the hope that someone would know something. While police continued to review camera and phone data, an unexpected turn of events occurred that day, 10/7/2022. 2 days after Jay disappeared. A local towing company, Bandit Towing, called the police station. They reported one black Ford Fusion with a yellow stripe running across the bonnet was towed from the parking lot of Molly Bar Trails, an apartment complex for students. As soon as they heard the description, the police knew for sure it was Jay's car. The car is still there. "I love my Pomeranian" sticker, and the license plate bears his name, Jay Lee. But what worried them most was the fact that this car was abandoned without any sign of Jay nearby. The police quickly went to the parking lot to check the vehicle. They discovered a number of personal items inside, Jay's bank card and keychain and some other furniture. But there was something important missing: Jay's iPhone. It's not in the car, nor is it in your apartment. This adds to the mystery. If Jay left the car behind, where did he go? And with whom? Photos from the towing company show Jay's car was parked very quickly. The front of the car jumped onto the sidewalk. The front wheel turned sharply to the left. This raises suspicions that maybe someone drove Jay's car here and left it behind. But who can do that? And more importantly, did Jay drive there himself, or was he forced? When police reviewed surveillance video from the surrounding area, they confirmed that Jay's Ford Fusion was close by Molly Bar Trails at 7:25 a.m. on July 8th. But because the camera angle was hidden, they couldn't clearly see who was driving. Only one thing is certain: that was the last time Jay's car was seen on the streets. Questions raised and calls from the community. At this time, Jay's family, especially his mother, Mrs. Stephanie, more desperate than ever. She continuously appeared in the media, calling on people to help. If you know anything, even a small clue, please say so. Someone out there knows what happened to my son. The LGBTQ+ community in Oxford also spoke out strongly, asking the police to clarify Jay's disappearance. They worry that the case may be overlooked because Jay is a black man, belongs to the LGBTQ+ community, and has a free lifestyle, not hiding himself. Many people ask, if Jay had been a white student, would the case have received higher investigative priority? On social networks, hashtags Justice for Jay Lee started to spread. Thousands of people called for justice for Jay, shared his story, and put pressure on local authorities to keep the case from being forgotten. Jay Lee's story is more than just a simple disappearance. It is also a powerful reminder of the injustice that many in the LGBTQ+ community still face, of the need for a fairer legal system, and most importantly, of what each of us can do to help. Now, the most important question remains: who was the last person with Jay Lee? And what happened to you? Anxiety about the disappearance of Jay Lee continues to rise in the University of Mississippi community. His friends and family continued to call for information, while the police for Oxford began to intensify the investigation. But even though they had Jay's car, they still didn't have any trace of where you are. No one has seen him, no bank transactions since July 7th, no calls or messages sent. However, one thing is clear: the answer lies in Jay's phone. When the police checked mobile data from AT&T, they noticed that Jay's phone signal had moved through many locations in the city in the early morning of the day 8/7. Finally, at 7:28 a.m., it stopped completely close Stone Park and Dormitory area, Residential College South. But when they searched the area, there wasn't any sign of Jay. It's your phone. Turns off completely after that point. Because the physical phone could not be found, the police turned to a new direction of investigation: Jay's iCloud data. They knew that if Jay used iMessage, Snapchat, or any platform with cloud storage, then they can restore your messages even if your phone is lost. On the day 22/7/2022, nearly 2 weeks after Jay went missing, Detective Douglas finally got the message data from your iCloud. And that's it, missing piece in this mysterious picture. Jay Lee's final text message thread paints a completely different story about what may have happened that morning. From 5:17 a.m., Jay has a chat on Snapchat with a named account, RedEye24. The message has the following content: "Who is this? Go back. Are you coming or not? Or not? You're acting so suspicious. You're imagining it. I don't want to end up like this." After a moment of hesitation, Jay agreed to return, but with one condition. He wanted the other person to perform an intimate act to demonstrate goodwill. Finally, enter 5:45 a.m., RedEye24 agrees. And just a few minutes later, Jay left the apartment for the last time. After further investigation, the police discovered his true identity, RedEye24. This account is registered with an email associated with a podcast has a name Dirt for Diamonds. The person behind it is none other than Mr. Shelton Timothy Harrington Jr., aka Tim Harrington, a former student, 22 years old, of the University of Mississippi. Tim Harrington comes from a prominent family in Grenada, Mississippi. His grandfather is pastor of a local church for over 40 years, and his family owns many rental properties. On the surface, Tim has the perfect life: a good son, a young businessman running a shipping company with his friends. But his secret has been exposed. Messages on iCloud don't just show Jay and Tim have an intimate relationship, but also revealed that Tim is living a double life. Him hide your sexual orientation, afraid that if discovered, his family and community would turn away. In an old message, Jay sarcastically mocked Tim about living in the dark. Jay, I just want to be able to say that I have you. Become first person. Yours is so interesting. By the way, I just left a mark on your floor. Please clean it up. Oh, I forgot. The nude photo you sent was fake. Back to the block here. After that last message, Jay has blocked Tim on all social media platforms. That's why Tim created the account RedEye24 to continue contacting Jay, convincing him to come back to see him on the morning of July 8th. And according to all available data, that was also the last time Jay Lee was alive. Evidence from iCloud indicates that Jay went to Tim's apartment. But what happened then? After Jay went missing, the police discovered Tim was gone. Search on Google at 5:47 a.m. on July 8, just a few minutes after convincing Jay to come back. How long does it take to strangle someone to death? Tim Harrington never reported to the police or tell anyone about your last meeting with Jay. He continued living as if nothing had happened, while Jay's family and friends desperately searched for him. Justice for Jay Lee? Speak up. At this time, the community LGBTQ+, Jay Lee's friends and family are going. The call for justice is stronger than ever. If you live in Oxford, Mississippi, or have any information about Tim Harrington or this case, please contact police immediately. Share this story. Don't let Jay's death be forgotten. Remember, no one has the right to take a person's life just because they are afraid of the truth about themselves. Jay Lee deserves to live, deserves to be loved, and deserves to be protected by justice. Justice for Jay Lee. The truth is gradually being revealed, but Jay Lee has not been found yet. With each passing day, his family is in pain, his friends continue to call for justice, and the University of Mississippi community still lives in fear of what happened to Jay. Police now had just one name in sight, Tim Harrington Jr. Not only was Tim the last person to text Jay, but he also acted suspiciously right after he went missing. Google searches about how long does it take to strangle someone, his strange movement history that morning, and lies about not seeing Jay all made him a suspect. Number 1 suspect. But one important question remains. What did Tim do to Jay? After obtaining Jay's iCloud data, the police moved to investigate Tim's behavior on the day 8/7/2022, right after Jay left the apartment for the last time. And what they found further strengthens the theory that Tim murdered Jay. Around 7:30 a.m., a security camera at the Molly Bar apartment complex recorded the image. A man wearing a gray hoodie and black shorts ran out of the parking lot where Jay's car was left behind. At the same time, Tim called a friend, Kezia Carter, to ask him to drive him home. When meeting Kezia at the Rockets gas station, Kezia noticed Tim sweating, breathing rapidly, as if just completing a stressful job. After arriving home, Tim performed a series of strange actions. Him search for a Walmart store address nearby. Arrive Walmart and buy a large roll of duct tape, even though there was nothing in his apartment that needed repair. He changed cars and left transport company truck, carry along a shovel and a turtle cart from his parents' house in Grenada. When the police Oxford. The first time he approached Tim Harrington at his home, he maintained a terrifyingly calm attitude. He claimed that he and Jay were just social acquaintances, and he hasn't seen Jay in many days. However, when asked about travel itinerary on the morning of July 8th, Tim began embarrassed. He said he just went to the gym near the Molly Bar area, but security cameras recorded him exactly at the time and place where Jay's car was abandoned. When police asked about the tape he bought at Walmart, he couldn't produce any reasonable explanation. And when asked about the shovel and turtle cart he took from his parents' house, he refused to answer. The police couldn't arrest Tim immediately because of them version. There is still no physical evidence surname. There is no body of Jay Lee. But now they know. Surely Tim is hiding something. Jay's family, painful days of waiting. As police continue to investigate, Jay's family lives in despair. His mother, Stephanie Lee, appeared in the media, suppressing her pain to speak. Tim Harrington knows what happened to my son. I believe someone out there knows. Please speak up. Don't let Jay be just a forgotten name. The LGBTQ+ community continues to organize protests demanding justice for Jay. They asked the police to speed up the investigation and called on the public to provide information, any clues. On social networks, hashtags Justice for Jay Lee become a trend, attracting hundreds of thousands of shares. Many people fear that because Jay is a person Black, belonging to the LGBTQ+ community, the police probably will set. This case is not a priority. But they were wrong. Day 22/7/2022, after collecting enough evidence from phone data, cameras, and statements from Jay's friends, the police officially arrested Tim Harrington on a charge of first-degree murder. When the news broke, Jay's family burst into tears. But the pain has not subsided yet, because Jay has not been found yet. Hart still kept quiet, did not cooperate with the police, did not reveal where Jay's body was hidden. Tim Harrington has been arrested. Jay Lee's family, his friends, and the entire LGBTQ+ community hope that this will be the first step towards justice being served. But this case is not easy. There was no body, no murder weapon, no direct witnesses. The only thing the prosecutors have is suspicious text messages, phone records, surveillance cameras, and Tim's creepy search history. All evidence points to that Tim Harrington was the last person to see Jay Lee, that he lied about everything, that he tried to hide his crimes. But American law has an important principle. The prosecutor must prove the defendant's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and that's the problem. Without a body, how can it be 100% certain that Jay was killed? The prosecutor's office has done everything possible to fill in the gaps in this case. Surname-used phone data, travel history, and forensic algorithms to reconstruct Jay and Tim's last moves. Tim's GPS showed that he was moved to many strange locations shortly after Jay's disappearance. Security cameras confirmed him before. Change your shoes, use the truck, and go to a deserted area. Search history. His is full of suspicious phrases like, "How long does it take to strangle someone?" These facts all point to one thing. Tim Harrington planned and carried out this crime, then tried to cover it up. Tim's attorney, Kevin Horan, knows that he couldn't deny having met Jay that morning, but he has a more dangerous strategy, casting doubt on whether Jay is actually dead. No body, no crime. Kevin Horan tries to paint a different scenario. Jay could have left. He may have left Oxford for personal reasons. Maybe you're hiding from someone. They dug into Jay's personal life, emphasizing that he had many fleeting relationships, frequently went out at night, and may have met someone other than Tim. They even suggested that some stranger may have kidnapped or harmed Jay after he left Tim's apartment. Here's an old but effective tactic in the American justice system. If the slightest bit of doubt can be sown, it will be difficult for the jury to reach a verdict. During the trial, many of Jay's relatives spoke up and shared about his personality. His mother, Stephanie Lee, burst into tears on the witness stand. Jay never disappears for no reason. If it's still alive, it will call me. It will call friends. It will never abandon Lexus. Jay's best friend, Ked Fears, recounted their last conversation. Jay was suspicious of Tim from the beginning, but he still came back. I wish I could stop him. These words moved the jury. But the defense attorney continued to tack on doubt, emphasized that it's all just speculation. After many days of debate, the jury could not reach consensus. Or 5 hours of discussion, they sent a note to the judge. We were unable to reach a unanimous verdict. The judge asked them to continue. But later, many more hours, they still come back with the same answer. We're stuck. We can't agree. The trial ended in deadlock. Tim Harrington was not convicted, but was not acquitted either. Some jurors later revealed that the vote was 11-1 in favor of guilty, but only one person refused to convict because there was no body. This causes Jay's family to collapse. They knew Tim was guilty. They know he killed Jay. But justice has not yet been served. With such strong evidence, why hasn't justice been served yet? The answer is, the American justice system has very high standards for sentencing a person. Without physical evidence, such as Jay's body, there is always a chance for the offender to escape. We can't let that happen. Jay Lee's family needs us. Justice needs us. Please continue to speak up. What can you do? Share Jay Lee's story with friends, family, and on social networks. Call or email Mississippi authorities to request a retrial of the case. support organizations protecting LGBTQ+ rights and missing victims. Tim Harrington may have escaped sentence this time, but the story is not over. Jay's family won't stop. Police will continue to investigate. And if we don't stop applying pressure, if we don't stop demanding justice, the truth will come to light. Jay Lee deserves justice, and with everyone's help, we will not let this story fall into oblivion. Winter passed in painful waiting. After the deadlock trial, Tim Harrington remains free, and Jay Lee's family continues to live in torment because they do not know where their son is. No bodies, no convictions, no physical evidence, no justice. But fate does not let this story end silently.